organization of a parliament, composition of a parliament, and the powers and the functions of the members of parliament. So, organization of a parliament. The Sansad Bhavan is located in New Delhi. It was designed by Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Breker, who were responsible for planning and construction of New Delhi by British government. The new construction of buildings took 6 years, and the opening ceremony was performed on 18 January 1927 by the then Viceroy and Governor General of India, Lord Irwin. The construction costs for the building were rupees 8.3 million. The parliament is 170 meters in diameter and covers an area of 2.4 hectares. The central hall consists of chambers of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and the library hall. Surrounding these three chambers in four-storied circular structure, providing accommodations for members and houses parliamentary committees, offices, and Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Now I explain the composition of a parliament. Union Parliament is a bicameral legislature with the Rajya Sabha as the upper house and the Lok Sabha as the lower house. So first I will tell you about the compositions of Rajya Sabha. The Council of the States, that is the Rajya Sabha, is the upper house of the Union Parliament. Its maximum membership can be 250, involving 238 representatives of the state and union territories and 12 members nominated by the President from amongst the person from the fields of literature, science, art or social service. The seats allotted to each state and union territory have been mentioned in the 4th schedule of the Constitution. Now the composition of the House of People, that is the Lok Sabha. The House of People, that is the Lok Sabha, is the lower, directly elected and powerful House of Union Parliament. Its maximum strength can be 552. It has at present a strength of 545 members, out of which 523 are elected representatives of the people of the state of the Union, 20 are elected representatives of the people of Union territories, and 2 are members belonging to the Anglo-Indian community. Now we will talk about membership of a parliament, Lok Sabha, or what is the eligibility criteria for the membership of a parliament. First, a citizen must be a member of India. Citizen must not be less than 25 years of age. Citizen must be a voter for any parliamentary constituency in India. Citizen must be a candidate of a recognized political party. Needs one proposer from his constituency for his nomination, and any independent candidate needs 10 proposers. Candidates are required to make a security deposit of 25,000. Now I will tell you the disqualification for the members of the parliament of Lok Sabha. A person would be ineligible for being a member of Lok Sabha if the person holds any office of profit under the government of India, is of unsound mind, is at discharged insolvent, has ceased to be a citizen of India, is so disqualified by any law made by the Indian Parliament, is so disqualified on the grounds of defection, has been convicted among other things for promoting enmity between different groups, has been convicted for offence of bribery, has been punished for preaching and practicing social crimes such as untouchability, dowry or sati, has been convicted for an offence and sentenced to imprisonment, has been dismissed for corruption or for disloyalty to the state. Now the qualifications for the Rajya Sabha. A person must be a citizen of India, make and subscribe before some person authorized is in that behalf by the Election Commission an oath or affirmation according to form set out for the purpose in the 3rd schedule to the Constitution. Be at least 30 years old. Be elected by the Legislative Assembly of the States and Union Territories by means of single transferable vote through proportional representation. Not be a proclaimed criminal. Not be a subject of insolvent, that is he or she should not be in a debt that he or she is not capable of repaying in a current manner, and should have the ability to meet his or her financial expenses. Not hold any other office of profit under the government of India. Not be of unsound mind. possesses such other qualification as may be prescribed in that behalf by or under any law made by the Parliament. In addition, 12 members are nominated by the President of India, having special knowledge in various areas like arts and science. However, they are not entitled to vote in the presidential election as per Article 55 of the Constitution. Now I will talk about the various powers and the functions of the members of Parliament. So there are various types of powers like legislative powers, executive powers, financial powers, constituent powers, and judicial power, electoral power. So these are the types of powers and the functions that are performed by the member of Parliament. So first there is the legislative powers. All the subjects in our constitution are divided among the three lists, that is state, union, and the concurrent list. In the concurrent list, parliamentary law is overriding than the state legislative law. Constitution also have the power to make law with respect to state legislature in the following circumstances: when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to that effect, when national emergency is under operation, when two or more states request Parliament to do so, when necessary to give effect to international agreements, treaties, and conventions, or when President's rule is in operation. Now the executive powers of the members of Parliament. According to parliamentary form of government, executive is responsible to the Parliament for its acts and policies. Hence, Parliament exercises control by various measures like committees, question hour, zero hour. These all are the hour in which the ministers of the Parliament have to answer to the people about have to answerable to the other members of the Parliament, to the people about their action, about the action which they have taken. Ministers are collectively responsible to the Parliament. Now the financial powers of the MPs. Financial power, it include enactment of budget, because Lok Sabha every year have to present the budget for the country. Scrutinizing the performance of the government with respect of financial spending to financial committees. Constituent power, like the constituent power are they to amend the constitution or to pass any law required. Now the judicial power. Judicial power include impeachment of president for the violation of the constitution, for if for the any impeachment bill, like for the president or for the judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, for the these they all are removed. The judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, the removal of the president, they all are removed through a special process which is called a impeachment. So this process can be initiated in either of the house of the Parliament, maybe either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Also, the Parliament have the right to punish member for breach of privileges, like sitting in the house when the member know he is not eligible member, serving as member before taking oath, etc. Now the electoral powers. Electoral powers of the members of Parliament are: it has its participation in the election of President and Vice President. The members of Lok Sabha elect Speaker and Deputy Speaker from among its members. Similarly, member of Rajya Sabha elects Deputy Chairman. So these are some functions and powers of the Parliament. Now I will tell you about the organization, functions, powers, qualifications, and disqualification of the members of State Legislative Assembly. The members of the State Legislative Assemblies are called MLAs, the members of Legislative Assemblies. So first, the organization of the State Legislative Assembly. The State Legislative Assembly, popularly known as Vidhan Sabha, is the lower, directly elected, popular and powerful house of the state legislature. Its membership is in proportion to the population of the state, and hence it differs from state to state. The members are directly elected by the people of the state through a secret ballot, simple majority vote, victory, and single member territorial constituency system. Odisha Legislature Assembly has 147 members. A citizen of India who is not less than 25 years of age and who fulfills every other qualification as laid down by the law can become its member by winning an election from any constituency in the state. However, no person can simultaneously be a member of two houses of the parliament or of any other state legislature. The normal term of a legislative is 5 years. However, it can be dissolved by the governor at any time. It can be suspended or dissolved when an emergency under Article 356 is proclaimed in the state. In May 2009, in the Orissa Legislative Assembly elections, the BJD wins 103 seats while the Congress got 26, the BJP 6, and the Independents another 12 seats. So now I will tell you composition of the state legislative assemblies. The legislative assembly of each state consists of members not more than 500 and not less than 60 according to its population. They are elected directly on the basis of adult suffrage from territorial constituencies. Most of the constituencies are single membered, but a few are plural membered also. Example, in the Uttar Pradesh, out of 347 constituencies, 264 were single membered and 83 two membered. This is to be proportionally equal representation according to population in respect of each territorial constituency within a state. After each census, the number of seats in a legislative assembly of each state and division of each state into territorial constituency is readjusted according to prescribed manner. Article 332 of the Constitution provides for the reservation of seats in the assembly of every state for the scheduled castes and tribes on population basis. In the Legislative Assembly of Assam, similar reservation for the autonomous tribal districts is provided. Article 333 empowers the governor of the state to nominate to its assembly such number of representatives of Anglo-Indian community as he deems fit, in case in his opinion that community is not adequately represented. Now, what are the qualifications for the election of the legislative assemblies? The qualification and disqualification for the member of legislative assembly are same as those in the case of Lok Sabha. A member must be a citizen of India, of not less than 25 years of age, and possesses such other qualification as may be prescribed by the parliament. No one can be a member of both the houses of the legislature of the state or the member of legislature of two or more states at the same time. Now, I will tell you about the disqualification for being a member of legislative assembly. If he or she holds an office of profit to the government of India or the government of any state other than an office declared by the state legislature by law, not to disqualify its holder. If he is of unsound mind as declared by the competent court, if he is an undischarged insolvent, if he is not a citizen of India or has voluntarily acquired the citizenship of a foreign state or is under any acknowledgement of allegiance or adherence to a foreign state, if he is so disqualified by or under any law of the parliament. Now, the functions of members of legislative council. Member of legislative assembly divide their time between their constituencies and their work in the assembly. MLA's duties will vary depending on whether he or she is a member of cabinet, a member of opposition, or a government backbencher. Opposition members spend much of their time researching and asking questions in the House regarding their constituencies and politic areas. But both opposition members and government backbenchers present petitions, resolutions, and private members' bills to the House. MLA, who are ministers of the Crown, spend much of their time overseeing the operations of their assigned departments. Cabinet ministers must be prepared to answer questions from the opposition, put forward government bills, and deal with the estimates and annual reports of their departments. MLAs also serve as the member of various committees. Committee membership is allocated to the political parties in approximately the same proportion as their representation in the House. Constituents encountering problems with their division or having problems dealing with government departments, agencies, etc. often refer to their MLA for assistance. Much of an MLA's time is spent handling their constituents' individual problems, answering questions and concerns, and keeping aware of prevailing opinion of the constituency. MLAs keep in touch with their constituents by personal contact, by phone, in writing through meetings, and by the two annual household mailing they are entitled to send. Every MLA may open an office in his or her constituency. Now I will tell you about the powers, organizations, composition of the municipal corporations which works in urban area. So first I will tell you about the organization of municipal corporation in cities. A municipal corporation, city corporation, Mahanagarpalika, Mahanagar Nigam or Nagar Nigam or Nagar Sabha is a local government in India that administers urban areas with a population of more than 1 million. The growing population and urbanization in various cities of India were in need of a local governing body that can work for providing necessary community services like healthcare, educational institutions, housing, transport, etc. by collecting property tax and fixed grant from the state government. The 74th Amendment made the provisions relating to urban local government. Now, I will tell you about the composition of a municipal corporation in urban areas. The area administered by a municipal corporation is known as a municipal area. Each municipal area is divided into territorial constituencies known as wards. A municipal corporation is made up of ward committees. Each ward has one seat in the ward committee. Members are elected to the ward committee on the basis of adult franchise for a term of 5 years. These members are known as councillors or corporators. The number of the wards in the municipal area is determined by the population of the city. Some seats are reserved for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes and women. So here is a diagrammatic representation of a administrative structure in India. Like how administration works in India. This is a representation of the different tiers of a government, like how administration works at different levels in India. Firstly, it works in the government of India, which we all know as a union government, then the state governments, and in the state governments there are also divisions like district. Under district there are blocks which are headed by tehsils, and then in the village there are panchayats, gram panchayats, and also under districts are there. In urban areas there are municipal corporation, Mahanagarpalika, municipalities, city councils, and all these are works in the wards, like I have already explained in the earlier slide, that there is a ward committee. The whole city is divided into the wards according to the population. So, and the councillors work in their respective wards. Now, what are the qualifications for the municipal corporation election? A person can contest election for municipal corporations if he or she fulfills the following criteria. He or she must be a citizen of India. He or she must have attained at the age of 21 years. His or her name is registered in the electoral roll of a ward. He or she is not earlier disqualified for contesting municipal corporation elections. He or she must not be an employee of any municipal corporation in India. Now, there are some functions of municipal corporations, some basic functions which are performed by the members of municipal corporation. So, first is urban planning, including town planning, regulation of land use and construction of buildings, planning for economic and social development, water supply for domestic, industrial and commercial purposes, public health, sanitation conservancy and solid waste management, fire services, urban forestry, protecting of the environment and promotion of ecological aspects, safeguarding the interest of weaker section of society including the handicapped and mentally retarded, slum improvement and upgradation, urban poverty alleviation programs. So these are some basic functions which are performed by the members of the municipal corporation. So now I will explain you about the Panchayati Raj system, like how Panchayati Raj system works in India in rural areas. So first I will tell you about the organization of Panchayati Raj system. In India, the Panchayati Raj generally refers to the local self-government of villages in rural India as opposed to urban and suburban municipalities. This system was introduced by a constitutional amendment in 1992. Although it is based upon the historical panchayat system of Indian subcontinent, The recommendation of L.M. Singhvi Committee was accepted. This Panchayati Raj system was formalized in 1992 following a study conducted by a number of Indian committee on various ways of implementing more decentralized administration. In India, the Panchayati Raj now functions as a system of governance in which Gram Panchayats are the basic unit of local administration. The system has three levels. Firstly, the Gram Panchayat, which works at village level, then Mandal Parishad or Block Samiti, which works at, or Panchayat Samiti, which works at block level, and the Jila Parishad, which work at district level. It was formalized in 1992 by 73rd Amendment to the Indian Constitution. Currently, the Panchayati Raj system exists in all the states except Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and in all union territory except Delhi. So now, what are the qualifications to fill a seat in Panchayat? His or her name appear in the electoral roll of any constituency in Panchayat. He has completed his 21 year of age on the date of filling of nomination. In case of a seat reserved for scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, he is a member of any of those caste or for those tribe. In the case of a seat reserved for women, such person is a woman. He makes and subscribes before the returning officer or any other person authorized by the State Election Commission an oath of affirmation according to form set out for the purpose in the first schedule. He has not been disqualified under any other provision of this Act. Thank you.